When we got married, I kept my $500 million inheritance secret just to see how my husband would treat me. But, hello family, welcome back. Please do well to subscribe and let's know where you are watching the story from in the comment section. When the minister said, "You may kiss the bride," Emily smiled like everyone else, but a secret sat behind her teeth. She had married Ryan for love. She had also married him with $500 million hidden in a trust her father left. She told no one except her lawyer and the woman who had raised her after her mother died. Even her best friend, Claire, thought Emily's life savings were the small nest egg from her art gallery job. Emily had reasons. Money had ruined simple moments for her since childhood. Kids wanted to sleep over because her family had a bowling alley in the basement. Teachers treated her like a project. She learned early that cash could make people act like strangers wearing nice faces. So, when her father died and left everything to her, she made a promise. If she ever married, it would be to someone who liked her in plain light. She would hide the fortune until she felt safe. Maybe forever. Maybe until she felt she could breathe without wondering if love had a price tag. Ryan was easy to love. He had kind eyes and a crooked grin. He listened. He remembered small things. He worked as a contractor and came home with sawdust in his hair and stories in his pocket. He pulled out chairs. He danced ugly and made it look fun. He spoke about dreams in a way that made them sound like plans. His own construction firm, a little house near a lake, a dog named Rocket who would chase sticks like it was his job. Money was never the center of those talks. Not at first. On their wedding night, they checked into a modest hotel downtown. No penthouse, no champagne tower. He carried her across the threshold of a room that smelled like lemons and fresh sheets. Emily hung her dress over the closet door. Ryan loosened his tie, sighed, and turned to her like he still could not believe she was real. "You sure you're not a TV trick?" he said. "If I am, they picked the worst lighting," she joked. He kissed her forehead. "I'm serious. I feel lucky. I keep thinking I'm going to wake up back at my apartment with the leaky sink." "You are lucky," she said, touching his cheek. "But so am I." They ordered pizza. They ate in bed. They watched a game show and yelled answers at the screen. At midnight, he fell asleep first, arm thrown over her like a warm seatbelt. Emily stared at the dark window and whispered a quiet thank you to her father, then to herself. The next morning, they moved into a small rental house in a quiet suburb. It had a narrow living room, a kitchen with humming lights, and a yard that tried hard. It was not fancy, but it was theirs. Emily put her half-finished canvases in the corner and promised they'd buy shelves later. Ryan measured the windows and said he could make frames. They took a photo on the porch with mugs of cheap coffee. Emily sent it to Claire. Claire replied, "You look so happy. He looks like a man who will keep his promises." Emily typed back, "He is." The first weeks felt bright. Ryan woke early for job sites. Emily took the bus to the small gallery where she worked under a different last name. She wore jeans and simple sweaters. She sold prints. She booked a local artist for an opening night. She brought home leftover cheese from the receptions and laughed when Ryan tried to name the flavors like a sommelier. "Okay, this one tastes like chalk," he said. "That's manchego," she said. "I stand by it," he said. "Delicious chalk." Their fights were small and silly. He left socks under the couch. She left paints open. He wanted to watch action movies. She wanted quiet dramas that made her cry. They learned to compromise. One night he fell asleep during her movie and snored like a lawnmower. She took a video and sent it to Claire. Claire sent back a string of laughing emojis and then a single heart. But after the first month, a new rhythm crept in. Ryan started scrolling on his phone late. He clicked on videos about luxury cabins and passive income in 5 steps. He said things like, "If I could just get this one big contract." He looked at home listings far beyond their budget and then closed the tabs like he felt guilty. One Saturday, they went to a friend's barbecue. People stood around a grill and talked about interest rates. Ryan shook hands with a man who said he invested in startups. On the drive home, Ryan rested his head on the seat and said, "We should be playing bigger." "Bigger how?" Emily asked. "I don't know," he said. "I'm 31. I don't want to blink and be 50 and still chasing small jobs. I want employees, trucks with my name on them, real vacations, not staycations." "We can build," she said. "Slow is okay." He reached for her hand and squeezed. "Yeah, slow is okay." Still, Emily felt a new distance. It was not a fight. It was a draft coming under a closed door. 2 weeks later, Ryan came home with a fancy coffee maker and a grin. "It was on sale," he said. "We'll save money making our own lattes." Emily eyed the price on the box. That sale must have been very proud. "It's an investment," he said. "Every latte is like $2 we keep." "It's $5 we spent first," she said, smiling to soften it. He laughed and set it up. The machine whirred like a small plane. The first cup tasted strong and bitter. He drank it anyway and declared it perfect. Emily told herself not to nitpick. People bought small joys. He worked hard. But that night, she looked at their budget in a notebook and drew a line under extras. Claire visited the next day with flowers. She hugged Emily and gave Ryan a playful salute. "How's married life, Mr. Contractor?" "Very married," he said. "I bought a coffee machine and lost my right to complain about our grocery bill." Claire grinned. "You always wanted to be a barista." After Ryan left to run an errand, Claire leaned in, voice soft. "You good?" "I'm good," Emily said. "He's sweet. He talks about big dreams, sometimes a lot." Claire's eyes flicked to the coffee machine. "I see. It's fine," Emily said. "I like ambition." "You like honesty more," Claire said. "You always have." Emily almost told her the big truth right then. It sat at the back of her throat like a pebble she could spit out. But she swallowed it. The promise to herself remained. A few days later, Emily came home early. She found Ryan at the kitchen table with a stack of glossy brochures. He looked up, surprised. "Hey, you're back." "What are those?" she asked. He turned the top brochure around. It showed a new development with shining townhouses and a slogan, "Invest in tomorrow, today." "Just looking," he said. "Imagine flipping one. We could double our money." "We don't have money to flip with," she said, gentle but firm. "We could get a loan, or help." "Help from who?" she asked, careful. He scratched his jaw. "I don't know. Family? Friends? Maybe your gallery boss is paying you less than you're worth. You have connections, right?" Emily felt a flick in her chest. "What kind of connections?" He shrugged. "You went to that fancy school. Your mom's friend helped you get that job. People see you. You know what I mean." "I know that we're fine," she said. "And I know I don't want debt." He lifted his hands in surrender. Okay, no debt. I get excited, that's all." She kissed his forehead. "I like excited. I just like safe too." That night, as they brushed their teeth, he said, "I want to give you the world." She spit out toothpaste and met his eyes in the mirror. "I want you," she said. "Not the world." He smiled at that, and for a moment she believed the draft had stopped. Then came the first real crack. Emily woke at 2 a.m. and found the bed empty. Light glowed under the study door. She padded over in her socks and paused. Ryan's voice bled through the wood, low and tense. "Yeah," he said. "I know. I'm trying. She's unique. She doesn't like spending, but I can get her there. She needs a push." Silence. Then, "Number. Don't call me for a few days. I'll talk to her. I'll make sure she's ready to invest in our future, okay? She just needs convincing." The word cut. Convincing. as if she were a reluctant client. Emily stepped back from the door and walked quietly to the kitchen. She drank a glass of water with shaking hands. She did not go in and confront him. She wanted the right words and did not have them yet. She returned to bed and lay still, eyes open, listening to his footsteps, to the click of the light, to the careful way he climbed in beside her like a man who didn't want to wake a bird. In the morning, he was cheerful. He made coffee with the new machine and handed her a cup with foam shaped like a crooked heart. "Wow," she said. "You practiced." "It's art," he said. "I'm calling it heart with anxiety." She smiled, but she watched him. He checked his phone twice before he finished his cup. When he caught her looking, he put it face down and kissed her cheek. At the gallery, Emily could not focus. A couple came in needing a wedding gift. She showed them prints and gave them the speech she always gave about supporting local artists and finding pieces that felt like home. They bought a small landscape. She wrapped it and tied a blue ribbon. She said congratulations and meant it, and also did not. At lunch, she called Claire. "You busy?" "I can step out," Claire said. "What's up?" Emily told her about the phone call she overheard, leaving out the exact words. She did not want to relive them. She did not want to make them solid. Claire's voice sharpened. "Who was he talking to?" "I don't know," Emily said. "I didn't open the door." "You should have," Claire said, then softer. "Okay. Maybe you weren't ready. But you need to watch him." "I will," Emily said. "I'm not accusing him. Something felt off." "Trust that feeling," Claire said. "It's there for a reason." When Emily went home that night, she set the table and kept the conversation light. She asked about his day. He talked about a client who kept changing her mind about tile colors. "First she wants white, then gray, then white again," he said. "I told her, pick what you'll like in the morning." She laughed. We settled on off-white. "Compromise," Emily said. He smiled. "Exactly." She almost mentioned the late call then. She almost said, "Who needs convincing?" But the timing felt wrong. It would sound like a trap. She let it go for one more night. The next week, Ryan started working longer hours. He sent texts like, "Running late. Don't wait up." He came home with cologne on when he had not worn any that morning. He said he had met a potential partner for a big job and wanted to make a good impression. Emily nodded and asked for the name. He said, "A guy named Mike," without a last name. On Thursday, Emily stayed late at the gallery to help hang a new show. When the last nail went in, she checked her phone. A missed call from Ryan. A text from Claire. "Can I swing by tomorrow? I found something you should see." Emily's chest tightened. "What is it?" "In person," Claire replied. Emily tucked her phone away and smiled at the young artist who was sweating over the placement of his work. "It looks great," she said. "Go home, eat, don't stare at it until you hate it." On her own bus ride, she watched the city lights smear across the window. She thought of her father's rules about trust. He used to say, "You can give trust like an open hand or like a bank loan. Either way, you need terms." Emily had never liked the sound of that, but tonight it felt smart. At home, Ryan was already there, barefoot, flipping a steak in a pan. He looked up and grinned. "Chef special." "What's the occasion?" she asked, hanging her coat. "I got good news," he said. "Remember I told you about that guy? He knows a developer, wants to meet. This could be it, the big one." "That sounds nice," she said. "What's his full name?" Ryan paused half a beat. "Mike Turner." "Where are you meeting?" "Downtown," he said. "That bar with the brick walls." "Do you want me to come?" she asked. He shook his head. "It's business. Boring." She set the table. He plated the steak. They ate and laughed about the artist with the crooked paintings and the coffee machine that still screamed like a cat every morning. They kissed. "Good night." He fell asleep fast. Emily stared at the ceiling and counted her breaths. The next afternoon, Claire came over with a manila envelope. She shut the door and looked at Emily with eyes that didn't want to be the ones doing this. "I wasn't snooping," Claire said. "I swear. I was at the Copper Fox last night with some folks from work. I saw Ryan. He wasn't with a mic." "Who was he with?" Emily asked, voice low. "A woman," Claire said. "It looked like a meeting. They had papers. They talked close." She touched his arm. "It could be nothing. But then I heard him say your name." Emily's stomach dropped. "What did he say?" "He said, 'Emily will come around. She doesn't like risk, but I can get her to see the vision.' Then he said, 'She has potential.'" "Potential," Emily repeated. Claire handed her the envelope. "I asked a friend who knows that woman. Her name's Ava. She brokers private loans, not always the clean kind." Emily opened the envelope. Photos. Ryan at a table with a sleek woman in a red blazer, papers between them. Ryan leaning forward, the woman smiling. Ryan looking over his shoulder like he felt watched. Emily put the photos down. Her hands were steady, which surprised her. Claire reached for her, but Emily stepped back. "I'm okay," Emily said. "I don't want to jump to conclusions. Not yet." "Okay," Claire said softly, "but you needed to see it." "I did," Emily said. "Thank you." That night, Emily made pasta with garlic and oil. Simple, safe. Ryan came home at 8, hung his jacket, and kissed her cheek. "Long day," he said. "Tile drama." She nodded. "Eat. You'll feel better." He ate. He talked about nothing for 10 minutes. Then he pulled his phone out, checked it, and put it face down again. "Who were you meeting last night?" Emily asked. Careful, calm. He blinked, then smiled. "Mike. And his partner." "Why?" Emily waited. He took too long to answer. "They're interested," he said. "We'll see." She watched his face for a flicker of guilt. She found something like it. Or maybe she only imagined it because she was ready to see it. He reached for her hand. "I love you," he said. "You know that, right?" "I know what you've said," she replied. He squeezed her fingers. "I'm doing this for us." "For us," she repeated. His words from the phone call echoed. "I'll make sure she's ready to invest in our future. She just needs convincing." When he fell asleep, she sat at the kitchen table with the manila envelope and the photos and her father's old fountain pen. She wrote a list, questions she would ask, names she needed, things she would check. She stared at the number 500 million written in her mind like graffiti on a wall no one else could see. She had hidden it to protect love. Now it felt like an alarm she had set that was finally going off. At 2 a.m., the quiet house held its breath. Emily stood by the study door again. This time, there was no light under it. No voice. Just her own heartbeat and the cold hum of the fridge. She went back to bed, lay beside the man she had chosen, and told herself the truth she had not wanted. Something was wrong. And in the thin space between night and morning, she decided she would find out exactly what it was. If you haven't subscribed yet, I'd love you to join our community by hitting the subscribe button. Through our stories, we build hope and give future to children and women abused all over the world. Motivate us by subscribing to hitting the subscribe button and turning on your notification bell. Also, let us know in the comments where you are watching us from and how this story hit home for you. Emily woke to the smell of coffee and the sound of Ryan singing badly in the kitchen. The morning felt almost normal, but normal had started to feel like a coat with a tear in the lining. You couldn't see the damage, but you knew it was there. "Morning, Sleeping Beauty," Ryan said, handing her a mug. He was cheerful, maybe too cheerful. "Big day today. Meeting with a supplier. Could be a game changer." She took the mug. "For which job?" He hesitated. "The one I told you about. Mike's lead. Emily sipped the coffee. It was strong. Bitter. Right. Mike. He didn't look her in the eyes when he kissed her goodbye. That afternoon, she stopped by the grocery store after work. Claire's words kept replaying in her mind. You needed to see it. The photo of Ryan with the woman in the red blazer burned in her thoughts. Who was Ava, really? And why would Ryan lie about something as simple as who he was meeting? At the checkout, Emily's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number read, "You don't know your husband like you think you do. Meet me tomorrow at 11 a.m. at the cafe on 5th. Come alone." Her hands went cold. She saved the number but didn't reply. At dinner, she kept her voice light. "How's Mike?" Ryan chuckled. "Ambitious guy, has connections." "Like Ava?" she asked casually, watching him. His fork froze halfway to his mouth. "Who?" "Ava," she said again. "Red blazer. Knows how to lean in and listen." He blinked once too long. "I don't know what you're talking about." "I'm sure you don't," Emily said, standing to clear the plates. The next morning, she told Ryan she was meeting Claire for lunch. Instead, she went to the cafe on 5th. It was small, crowded, the kind of place where nobody noticed you if you didn't want to be noticed. A man in his 50s sat at a corner table. He had a worn leather briefcase and eyes that had seen too much. He stood when she approached. "Emily Reed?" he asked. "Yes." "I'm Daniel Cross," he said. "Private investigator. Your father hired me years ago." Emily's heart stuttered. "My father's been gone for over 7 years." Daniel nodded. "And I've kept an eye on you since, quietly. He was worried about people taking advantage of you." She sat, gripping her cup. "Why now? Why contact me?" "Because I think your husband is the kind of man your father feared." Emily's throat tightened. "What do you know?" Daniel slid a file across the table. "Ryan Cole. Married once before to a woman named Jenna Lawson. They divorced after she accused him of draining her accounts. She never took it to court, said she wanted to put it behind her. But bank records showed unusual transfers." Emily flipped through the papers. Photos of Ryan with a younger woman, screenshots of transactions, a copy of a police report marked closed. "He told me he's never been married," she said quietly. Daniel shook his head. "I don't like delivering this, but I've been watching the last few months. He's in deep with Ava Morgan. She brokers deals for investors, but not the clean kind. They target people with money, get them to invest in projects that vanish." Emily closed the file. "He doesn't know I have money." Daniel gave a humorless smile. "He suspects. People like him can smell it." That night, Emily sat across from Ryan at the dinner table, her mind buzzing with the file's contents. She could confront him now, but instinct told her to wait. If she wanted the truth, the whole truth, she needed to let him think she was still blind. Ryan was in a good mood. "Guess what?" he said between bites. "Mike's invited us to a dinner with some investors. Fancy place downtown. You should wear that green dress." "Sounds important," Emily said. "What are you hoping to get out of it?" He grinned. "Opportunities. Big ones." She forced a smile. "I'll be there." The next day, Emily decided to test him. While they were having breakfast, she said casually, "Oh, I found out I might have a small trust fund from my grandmother. Nothing big, about 200,000. Ryan's reaction was instant. 200,000, wow, that's a startup budget. "I haven't decided what to do with it," she said. "It's not even released yet." He leaned forward. "We could double it in 6 months with the right project. Mike's deal." "I'm not ready to commit," she said. His smile faltered, but only for a moment. "Of course, just think about it." That evening she called Claire. He took the bait. "Of course he did," Claire said. "So what now?" "I let him think I'm considering it, and I find out how far he'll go." The dinner with Mike was staged like a scene from a movie. Dim lighting, crisp linens, wine that smelled like money. Mike was tall, slick, with a smile that never reached his eyes. Ava was there too, in another perfectly tailored blazer. She greeted Emily like an old friend. "Ryan's told us so much about you," Ava said. Emily's lips curved politely. "Has he?" Over seared scallops, they talked about opportunities. Ava leaned in, her perfume sweet and sharp. "The returns are incredible. We just need the right investors, people with vision." Emily played her part. "I'm cautious with money." "That's smart," Ava said. "But sometimes you have to take a leap." Ryan jumped in. "Em, this is one of those times." Emily set down her fork. "We'll see." 2 days later, Ryan came home buzzing. "They're ready. All we need is the capital." "I'm still thinking," Emily said. "You don't need to think. This is a sure thing." "Sure things don't need convincing," she said softly. He froze. "What's that supposed to mean?" "Nothing," she said, smiling. "Just an observation." Late that night, she overheard him on the phone again. His tone was urgent. "She's close. Trust me. Once she wires the funds, we're golden." Golden. The word made her skin crawl. The next morning, Emily made a decision. If he wanted to play games, she'd set the board. She contacted Daniel and asked for help. Together, they created fake bank documents showing she had just inherited $500 million. The story was simple. Her late father's estate had finally cleared probate. Daniel warned her, "Once he sees this, you'll see his real face." "That's the point," Emily said. That evening, Emily left the documents on the kitchen counter where Ryan couldn't miss them. She made pasta, acting casual. "What's this?" he asked, picking up the papers. "Oh, that?" She shrugged. "Just something from my lawyer. My father's estate finally closed." His eyes flicked over the numbers. His breath hitched. 500 million? She twirled pasta around her fork. "Surprised?" Wow, I had no idea." "Not many people do," she said. "It doesn't change anything." His smile was slow, calculated. "Of course not. But think of what we could do with that." "Let's not rush," she said. He reached for her hand. "We could build something amazing together." Emily smiled, but inside her heart was steel. "Maybe, if I can trust the builder." That night, she didn't sleep. She lay awake, knowing that the game had shifted. And in the shadows of their small house, she waited for Ryan to show her exactly what kind of man he really was.